Circle. It is starting, you guys. We'll wait maybe one more minute and then we'll cut off the music. So text your business partner on because you don't want to miss the nuggets that are about to be shared this morning. We get closer to convention, you guys. We have 24 days until convention. And if you have not got your ticket, you need to. It's non-negotiable. You are going to miss out. Okay. And I'm going to share with you guys this morning why it's important to show up for convention, because it could be the biggest blessing in your life. Okay. You don't like your situation right now, right? The convention can really change the trajectory of your business. So today we're gonna talk about expectations and just kind of some nuggets of preparing our mindset as we walk into convention. You guys, this only happens once a year. So you do not want to wait next year because you don't know if you're going to be here the next 12 months. I'm just speaking real, okay? Because I want to share a story because I was in that shoes where I was about to throw in the towel. So I think we could start because I'm about to be at work. And I wanted to open it up today. Good morning, everyone. Good morning, Supreme Team. My name is Kimberly Howard. For those of you who don't know me, I am your business partner out of California. But I was born and raised in New York. So I got love for my East Coast people. And put a 1 in the chat if you are registered for convention already. Okay, I think we have like 2 more days until the prices goes up. So, and the reason why this is so important, you guys, I just want to share my testimony of why convention to me really changed the trajectory of my business, of my mindset. Okay, I've been in the business for 8 years now, right? And I was in different companies, but convention is what kept me going. Marlene, I shared this story before, but Marlena was there with me because she was with me in another team. And I was about to quit. Okay. My whole team quit on me. I wasn't making money. I had $200. But something told me I needed to go to convention. If I wanted to change my life, I had to make a decision that I had that convention. It was an OIC convention, but I mean, it's still in the same industry. I always ask God, give me a sign that this is for me, because I wasn't making money. Maybe I was 2 years in the business and, I had chargebacks from my own family. My own family quit on me, right? And I'm like, why? Like, I was in my mind, I already quit because I was giving my reasons of why I should quit the business. But something told me, hey, I need to get to convention. And the reason why I tell you guys this is because, they say, hey, I can't change your life, but I can bring you to a life-changing event, right? And convention, you guys, is not really, for the company. it's really for the people. It's really for, hey, Brad is like, hey, I want to change people's lives, right? It's just not another conference, right? Put a one in the chat if this is your first convention that you ever been to in the financial space, right? So KJ, man, you're all in. I already see you, but when that room changes lives. So when I went to my convention, um, I asked God, like, give me a sign, give me a sign that this industry is for me. And then I look down, I kid you not, I find $1 million on the floor, a fake $1 million bill, okay? But I knew that was a sign. And then, I still had doubt in my heart because I wasn't seeing the physical thing. I wasn't seeing the income. I wasn't seeing the team. I didn't see myself as a builder, right? But I knew I needed to be on a stage, right? And at that time we were in Vegas and they have these big convention. It's like, man, I wish one day I will speak on stage, right? Because you get so inspired, right? You hear stories that, hey, the single mom, right, then becomes a millionaire because of this industry. And that's why it's so important because during convention, you guys, I'm going to tell you right now, it's not a family trip. It's not a vacation. Okay, it's time to show up and work because this convention is not just an event, right? And one thing that you have to do while you prepare your mindset going to convention is really you got to come up with a plan. You got to be intentional. I was talking yesterday at the Spark, write down things that, hey, who do you want to talk to during convention? What do you want to change in your business? Right? What breakthrough do you want to happen, during this event? We got to come and we got to have a plan, right? Write down a list of people already that you want to build relationships with because this business, on Zoom can be lonely, right? And during conventions, this is where we start building relationship. This is where our business really, for me, I'm gonna speak for myself, where it really changed because I can call on a Mary Grace. I can call, you know, on our leaders. I can call, just seeing Suni, obviously Suni's here with us, but other people on the platform, right? Um, but make sure that, hey, you show up with intention. Make sure that you take lots of notes, okay? And also, like, just to set the expectation, you're going to be tired. This is going to be a long event. However, you got to push through because you don't want to miss the breakthroughs, right? The breakthroughs between the meetings, right? Some people, they'll go back to their hotel room, they'll go back to their Airbnb, but stay close to the proximity of the leaders, right? This is not the time to have a family vacation. Last year, I took my whole family, my mom, my dad, my kids, my husband, and I told them, hey, I need help with the kids. This is not a family vacation right now until after convention, okay? But if you are coming with family, let them know, set the expectations already, saying, hey, this is not a family vacation. This is a time where, we can build our business and I need to be all in. Okay. I need to show up. We need to show up early, leave late, right? Stay with the group during lunchtime, whatever group activities that we have that our leaders, us leaders are planning. So to get in that mindset, because you guys, you know, this will change the trajectory of your business. So start writing down, what is not working for me right now? What in my business do I need to improve? Right? And if you've been to convention before and things haven't changed, what do you want to change? Okay, you're still here for a reason, right? One thing is like if you've been to a convention before, kudos to you, you did not quit, because so many people that I was with back in the day already quit the business. Okay, so I just wanted to encourage you guys today. And I appreciate, I can't wait to see everyone at convention. And yes, I look forward to seeing I am registered on our platform so we can see you in a couple weeks. So thank you guys. I'm going to pass the call because I just got to work. I'm not sure who's going to.
Yes. Thank you, Kimberly. Come on, let's give her some ones in the chat.
Let's get it.
Let's go, Kim.
Yes,
Let's go.
yes,
Let's
yes.
get it.
I'm ready to go to convention now after that. Let's go.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I want to share a little bit, if it's okay. Absolutely. Miss Kimberly reminds me that we all are leaders, so when we show up, we definitely have to show up as a leader, right? There's no small people here. Just because you're not a BD doesn't mean you're not a BD. You have to have the mindset first. So when you step in the room, don't come in with intimidation. You come in bold. You on the number one team. Wait a minute. Hold up. Remind yourself. You are on the number one team. We set the course, right? We turn up the volume when we get in the room. But at the same time, you got to show up as a professional. What does that mean? Like she said, it's not a vacation. This is a business investment. You're going to come, you're going to dress professionally. You're going to wear your name badge proudly. You're going to smile to everybody. No talking about nobody. I don't care what they look like, right? We not that team. We love it on everybody. And remember that you represent yourself, your team, your family, and the company, right? You never know. I go with, how do you say it? Like spidey senses, because everybody is my new client. Everybody's my new business partner. From the time I get on the plane to the time I get off at the hotel room, you never know who's looking, because they're going to see a bunch of us everywhere. And at the same time, they're going to get approached by everybody. But you're the one that may stand out different coming in as a professional. You want to come, you want to be early to everything, right? If we got to be there at 9 o'clock, that means we got to be there at 8:30, right? There's no lollygagging, as they say, right? The greatest conversations sometimes happen right before or after the event, not just on the stage. And remember that while you're in there and someone's presenting, you're not going to be talking. I'm sorry. I'm going to get a ruler. Wait, hold on. I'm bringing my ruler. Be quiet. Okay. You're going to sit in the front, right? Don't hide in the back. We not that tight. We don't have to sit in the back of the bus anymore. So you're going to go in the front and you're going to engage. You're going to eliminate distractions, right? You might have to turn your phone off. I can understand you got family calling you, texting you. You're going to keep it on silent, right? We don't need no phones. That's Supreme Team. Whose phone is ringing? No, we don't want that. Leaders don't speculate. We participate, right? You're going to take notes, like she said, like your future depended on it, because that's what you signed. That's what you're paying for. You're paying to get poured into, to come back home and do it like nobody else. That means bring your notebook, bring your tablet, right? You're going to write down ideas, different quotes that you may hear. I'm going to tell you one thing I learned as a leader when I first came here. I was speaking, and then after, Suni or Mikhail managed to say like 3 bullet points of what I said. And I was like, but I noticed. I said, oh, wait, they took notes as I talked. so they can edify and they can pull out the best things. That's what we need to do when we step in there and we're taking notes and we're, getting the goods, right? So we can transform that language back to our team when we come back home, to ones who couldn't make it, right? You're going to network with intention. You're going to meet someone new. You're going to introduce yourself. You're not going to be shy as a leader. You don't have to say, I'm Princess BD, da, da, da. No, but you just, got your shoulders back and you're introducing, you're saying hi, right? You might have some questions on your mind after listening to them speak on the stage. You're going to exchange your contact information. It's okay to build relationships because you don't know somebody you may be signing up in their town, and they may have to run in the field with your people. That's why you make, new friends, potential business partners, and mentors. And you're going to protect your energy. Yes, we eat, we have a good time after in the evenings, but you still got to stay hydrated. You still got to, know you're getting up for your class the next day early, right? You pay for this. So you're going to come in shiny and bright and new every day. And again, like I said, you're going to stay off your phone unless you're taking messages. Unless you're taking your notes through your phone, that's fine. And then you're going to also remain coachable. Be sure to listen with an open heart. We all come from different industries, and you may already have a judgment of something, or maybe you didn't like how something happened at another industry. Just don't bring that to this, right? Don't bring that to this. You got to remain humble and coachable. Don't compare your journey to someone else's. Everybody's in a different lane, and we're at different places in the race, right? But we're here for corrective criticism, encouragement, and new ideas. You may have something to share as well. And don't forget to capture the moment. I am your media girl. I want y'all to take pictures. I want you guys, like, with your team, without your team, with new faces, and we're gonna have a special chat to post in. So be sure, don't be shy. I need pictures. We need, like, hey, this is me in front of the Marriott. I just made a new client, or I just made a new so and so. We want to see all of that. We want to capture the moment because it's exciting, right? We came together as a team, and we came together, really, I'm telling y'all, as the number one team, right? When we go right through that, they're going to be clapping our hands. And that's what it's about. You're going to celebrate what you did all this year from June to June, right? You're going to celebrate all your hard work. And then you're going to leave with an action plan, right? You're not just going to leave like, oh, that was good. No. What are you going to do when you get home? That's the question. What are the 3 things that you can implement immediately? Who are the 3 people you can follow up on? Was it the person in the Uber? Was it the person at the hotel? Was it the person at the restaurant? And what are the goals that you need to put together so you can accomplish in the next 90 days on your run to BD? That's the question, right? So I'm going to challenge you guys when you go to convention, remember all these notes. At least 15 pages. Take 15 pages of notes. What are you going to come home with and eat and meditate on? Right? Try to make 10 new friends, 10 new associates, 10 new clients. And remember, you will never be the same. You go in with an open mind and open heart, and you're going to come back and you're going to win. All right, I'm going to pass the mic on. And remember, I got my ruler and my shiny mic. But I'll see y'all at convention.
Hey, can I get some of that, Miss Princess? I want to add a little bit to what you just said.
Princessa.
Guys, I think what Princess just gave you guys was a map, as you guys just heard her. And it's actually extremely important. Even what Miss Howard just said, I've already developed a plan on paper as to what I'm specifically going to do this convention. I'm only going to speak on one matter because that's why I go to conventions, and then I'm going to pass it off to our leader since he's available today. But before we do that, I want you guys to understand that, hey, let me give you guys some clarity. I'm very truthful these days, but this is also good truth. What that means is that you're really purchasing belief for next year's convention, 2027. I'm showing up this year, 2026, so that I can buy enough belief to make it to convention. So my goal for this convention is to ensure that I'm at the next convention, 2027. What does that mean to you guys? Every time I've showed up at a meeting, what I'm really doing is I'm getting the belief re-injected into me. Let me tell you why this is actually extremely important. In anything that you do, you're going to encounter challenges, circumstances, scenarios that are going to present itself because that's exactly how business can work many times. And many times it's going to have its great heights. But between the heights, there are some things that are going to get presented to you. And this is where you go get the belief from. I wrote something very specific down. When I show up at this convention, what I'm really looking for is how do I grow? What that really means is that I want to get in the room and do exactly what Miss Prince says. Hey, don't sit next to me if you want to talk. Please don't be the person that doesn't show up on time because I like to show up on time, sometimes early enough to get in the room to even help if they ask me to move a table around. Because while I'm moving a table around or asking a question, I get a chance to get exposed to another leader. I never forgot that I got to Washington, D.C. And when we got to DC, it was myself and Mr. Samad downstairs. And we had a great chat before the event got started. And then I got a chance to talk with Brad a little bit because he showed up a little bit early. And all I was doing was just trying to position myself around people who were also trying to grow or trying to grow the very thing that they believe in already. So what you're really doing is that when you get to convention, really what's happening is I wrote down that you're going to look inward first. Everybody else in the room is probably there to do the same thing too, to look inward. Hey, what happened this past year and what can I do to improve my mind? Because your mind is the largest battlefield in business. The reason why people will tell you, even like myself, will feel lonely is because you're not always 100% sure if you're making the right move. You're not always 100% sure that everything is working the way you thought it was going to work. And sometimes you get that represented in somebody else. Because I wrote down something very simple. I actually go there to witness the winners because I already believe that I'm a winner. Or if I was having a challenge in believing that I was winning, I get a chance to be around the winning individuals. Normally, if somebody's on stage, that means they're winning somehow, some way. Even if they're just hosting, that means they're probably winning. Even if they got a 5-minute speech, that means that they're probably winning. Even if they got a 30-minute or if they're hosting like Princess Matt last year, that means the reason why she got on the stage, it wasn't because she was just hoping. She actually decided to do something that gave her the winning principle that says, hey, we would like to give you permission to continue to win and help others win around this room. Because when you host, there might be a light in you that will expose itself to those that need to understand why this is an opportunity and why this is possibility. I also go to buy encouragement. When I go to conventions, I am purchasing something. My $210 will purchase me a level of encouragement when I get a chance to get in those little small spaces where, hey, Kim Howard says, hey, don't go too far. Even at lunch, don't go too far. Stay around the winning circle because there might be a loser hanging out in the lobby who's saying, why are you even going into that meeting? So I stay close to all the winning mindsets because I want to be encouraged. Hey, Hans, you did great last year. You could definitely, don't worry about that. You're right on track. Hey, you know what? You just started as an associate, but let me introduce you to another associate named Kyrie Jones who came in 30 days later and he was able to develop himself to exactly where you are. Why don't you guys have a conversation? But if you don't show up in that winning circle, any of that you needed may not be able to be presented to you, so you don't have an opportunity to go get it. I'm also buying an extra level of belief. When I say extra level, that means there's a level of belief as to why I showed up in the room, but I'm going to go buy some other belief. I'm going to buy the equity ownership belief. I'm going to go buy the CEO business director belief. I'm going to go buy the executive chairman, vice chairman belief. because that's a different level of belief. Meaning like, hey, Hans, that's exciting that you've been able to establish business director. But hey, Kim, what were you doing that really made your mind change? Can we sit down and talk for 5 minutes? Can I understand what made your mind change as to why you was able to hit equity ownership at this particular level in this particular time frame? And you pick the equity partner that you want to because they're all willing to have a conversation with you. But if you don't show up in that room, it's hard for you to get that belief. Yes, you could do it via Zoom, but you know what? It's so different when you get to say, hey, brother, you got a moment? Hey, sister, do you mind if I take a picture with you? Hey, I'm so proud of what you've been able to accomplish. And that person says, no, I see you doing it too. I see the possibility. Matter of fact, let me see. You got 5 minutes. I want to show you something. John Robinson would walk around the room and he'd say, hey, let me put this $100,000 ring on you. What he really was doing was that let me give you the vision of what's possible. It might feel corny, but it might be really true that he just said, hey, I just want to give you the vision of what's possible. And you really do walk away after the convention saying, hey, well, what do I need to do to hit 100 grand? What do I really need to do to kind of make a move differently? The other thing is that if you don't have a purpose today yet, because maybe you showed up one way and you're like, what's this purpose that we're all talking about? Well, some people in that room have a bigger purpose than just making money. Some people are going to come in that room and say, hey, I want to build one of the largest financial literacy organizations that will impact men and women for the rest of their life. And when you walk away with that kind of purpose, or you kind of hear that kind of level of mission, when you hit and you sit down with the CEO and says, yeah, I got 5 minutes. You want to take a photo? He's not taking the photo in vain. He's just taking the photo with you to encourage you that I'm a human being just like you, that one day when I woke up at 18, somebody showed me this industry and I turned it into a $30 million thing for myself. You want to turn it into a $30 million thing for yourself? Let's have a conversation. The other thing that you're going to do is that you're going to become mission driven and vision driven because if you don't have vision, for those who don't have vision, you will perish. For those who do not have vision, you will perish. What that means is that sometimes, like you said, through the realities of doing business, you got to be able to see 1 year ahead. You got to be able to see 2 years ahead. And there's so many people in that room that said, hey, Hans, I did 8 years. I did 19 years. Rain Rubio. Hey, I did 20 plus years. Mary Grace. And Mary Grace is gracious with it. She's not afraid to help you out. You're actually walking into a room where people says, yes, I want to help you get better. Here's the other thing that you're going to do. I came prepared this year. I have people that I've picked out that I said, I need to have a conversation with you. I know you've been able to accomplish this, but give me your insight. Give me your mind as to how you was able to do that. You mean that this is the time, like you said, this is actually a business trip. This is not, like Miss Howard said, this is not friends and family. Matter of fact, hey, lovely wife, Miss Lamika, I know your personality, but I'm going to be up from the morning. I'm going to be out from the afternoon. You are more than invited to everything we come. Matter of fact, come and sit at the table with me, but I'm on business. And she understands that because she knows that there's a mission that I have in my heart that I want to fulfill, and she's never upset about it. But you do give fair warning to your family and let them know that, hey, this is truly a business trip, meaning that every nick and cranny from a lunch conversation to a dinner conversation to a free event that Mr. Gabe Gonzalez said invited you, that means, hey, Hans, make your ticket early so you can get a chance that you don't have a chance to talk with Gabe because he's just as busy as you. But if you can steal a lunch period with him to get his mindset, or hey, here's your business partner that you talk to every night, every once in a while, but now I get a chance to see his wife, his family, and then his wife is like, hey, great job. I really appreciate the way you support the way that you're believing and helping the team grow. Those things matter, believe it or not, because you know what? The reason why I know it matters because when you go to the corporate America, you're like, hey, how come I didn't get a raise? A raise is just a reason for your boss to recognize that you're doing a great job. Oh, how come, you didn't pick me for that position? Over here, we pick you for the position all day long. We say, hey, you want to become an associate? Hey, you want to become a field director? Hey, do you want to get a 10% increase? And if you haven't been able to figure out how to get that increase, guess what, guys? In that room, there are many people who have created the increase over and over and over again. And they'll simplify it because somebody who's 2 years down the road or 4 years down the road of where you want to be, that means they have a tremendous amount of experience. And here's what's more important. If somebody has been here from day one to the 8th year, that means they have a level of commitment that is hard to take away. You know what you're going to, Ms. Howard said something that's true. You know what? We get a chance to walk away from this convention. We'll begin to understand who's going to be here next season, not because of anything else, but what I understand though, the people who do show up next season, what happens is they walked in the room and they got a better understanding of what they're trying to get accomplished. They get a better understanding. I have not seen anybody who's shown up to a convention has not been able to increase themselves, change themselves. And let me tell you something else. It's not just a change for the business. It's the change that you need in you for everything else that's important to get this business done. Hey, you know what? Why does Hans Augustin get up at 4 a.m.? Why does a Sunni Samad make sure that he's on every call and availability? Why is a Princess Map showing up here? Because there were things that each of us needed to change in order to grow to the levels of this business. Because let's say you did want to make $1 million, but did you understand the responsibilities tied to it? But guess what? When you walk inside that room, people will be like, no, I've been able to accomplish that. The reason why I had to do it this way is because I realized that the more and more people that came around, the more that I had to change, the more that I had to change my approach, the more that I had to really develop so I can create room so that we can organize as a team. Do you guys ever realize that the reason why it says supreme team, it's because the key word is team. In order for us to build a financial literacy organization or a impacting place that provides solution or an impact that makes a change to the brand new agent, it's because in that room, we get a chance to talk to each other and say, how do we build this team even larger? And Miss Princess Map said even better. Hey, when you walk into that room, walk into the room with a level of pride, a level of supreme, a level of identity that says, yes, we have arrived and we're here and we're about to take over the space. Not because we're rude, it's because we also want to see our infinite company to be the largest version of itself. So we're showing up here because we're an organization, we're a team, we're a group of people that want to have the like-mind foundation of the ability to make change in other people's lives. And what more information do I need to acquire to make that happen? I won't miss a convention. The reason why I know it is because I already made a 5-year commitment. I already made an 18-year, but 18 plus agency commitment. But guess what? If I make a mistake, Hans Augustin, not you, if you have to make a judgment for yourself, but if I make a mistake and say, I already know what's happening. I know how this works. I don't need to make it to this convention. Next year, I'll make it. Now, I want you to be careful. Yes, I know there's realities that are happening in your life, and I don't want to negotiate that for you. That's not what I'm saying. But me, the leader first, is showing up saying, hey, I want to grow something. And you show up because you're saying, I want to grow something, and I'm committed to the concept. Matter of fact, there is no such thing that in business where people don't gather. Do you know why people gather at conventions, guys? They gather because they say, you're like-minded like me, and there's something that I'd like to accomplish like you. What have you been doing to get to this level of accomplish? Can you share that information with me? There's really no business that does not have a convention or a gathering, and the ones that don't, they may not have a very strong business. But the reason why we're impacting you and not even, we're no longer actually begging anymore. What we're doing is we're saying, hey, if you really want to grow into something different, we highly recommend that you make the financial commitment and you make the decision and you show up. Because if you said to yourself that I wanted to grow a $100,000 business, If you said to yourself that I wanted to make $10,000 a month, if you said that you needed to make $5,000 a month and you haven't done that yet, there must be a lack of information that you need access to. But yet we said, hey, let's master all of the individuals who's figured this out, who have an understanding of how $10,000 a month works, how $100,000 per year works, how $1 million, and we put them all in the same room. And then we invite the organizational members to say, hey, guess what? We've made it easier. We're going to give you information in 3 days that will launch your business and help you catch up even faster. Do you know why Kyrie Jones made it faster than most people? It's because by the time he showed up in the room, whatever he knew got accelerated by the information of the leader that was already here 2 years ahead of him. Imagine taking a magic pill and say, hey, I want to grow from associate to business director. And you say, by the way, Mr. Samad, I heard that you did this in 6 months. Can you explain me what you did? He probably would be like, hey, sit down, young man, young lady, whoever you are. Hey, pull up this sheet of paper. Let me break it down to you. I'm going to give you the map right now. And he literally will give you the map. And if you go home and implement the information, you're going to be in better position. So what I'm doing, guys, is I'm recommending highly that when I show up this year, what I'm looking for is, hey, Hans, you haven't closed out equity. What's missing for you? Go talk to all the equity partners. Hey, John Robinson. Hey, Mr. Samad. Hey, Mrs. Howard. Hey, this person. Every equity partner I'm going to speak to this year and say, what is it that you did differently? How did you make that decision? What was the things that were in your way that you removed? Those are the questions that I have in my mind. And then I'm going to take plenty of pictures. Do you know why? Because I came to celebrate the receipts of what we got accomplished. The other day, myself and Mr. Samar, we were talking about, hey, do you understand that between last year and now, we've actually already produced well over $1.2 million in premium already? That is something to celebrate. We have recruited well over 189 plus associate agents to the team. That is something to celebrate. Hey, if you begin to understand what's been accomplished, so when people say, well, we don't have any results, that's not true. We don't have the exact results that we want, but we got results. And so you have to ask yourself a question. Do you want to get on the results train or do you want to get on the unresults train? See, now, Mrs. Samar, forgive me, but the spirit is on me. You want results. That's why you showed up. I want results. That's why I show up. If you need more results, you got to keep showing up. Hey, if you've never walked into a school and there's a fear behind walking into school, you got to find out where the people who are fearless, like, how did you make that decision? If you wanted to talk to small business owners and for some reason you haven't walked out of your own house to have that conversation or you haven't made the phone calls, then you do need to have conversations with people to say, well, how did you do that? When you begin to understand what people have accomplished, that's real numbers. When somebody says, hey, the other day we were on a call with Del Morena, she said, I got 324 clients already. You got to ask her, how did she get 324 clients? You got to ask somebody, how did they build 8 business directors in 1 year? Those are the questions that you ask, and they'll answer it. How do I move? Hey, Kyrie, when you came in, what was the passion behind? Hey, Nick Rios, why did you have 37 people? What did you say on the phone call? What did you do differently? What is the reason why you committed to the idea of getting 35 plus people? Do you know why I speak about that? Because even I didn't do 35 plus. Hey, Nick, I got to have a conversation with you, brother. When I get to a convention, if Nick's there, the first thing I'm going to ask him, I said, what did you say? What did you do? How did you make that happen? Why are you 20 something years old and that was the results that you created? And you know what I probably believe it is? It's just belief. So I go and say, hey, Nick, can I have a conversation with you? Can I purchase some of your grand opening belief? Hey, Mr. Jones, can I purchase your $10,000 a month belief? Hey, Mr. Samad, can I purchase your 8 business director and beyond and belief and still growing? Hey, Princess Matt, how did you get on the stage? What was your mindset? Hey, Kimberly Howard, how did you go home from one convention and by the time you made to the next one, you were already an equity partner? Because you know what I know for sure, guys, that's not available in corporate America? You can't walk into every CEO's office and ask that question. You can't even make it past his secretary who didn't even graduate. But she just happens to be the gatekeeper, but she won't even give you an appointment. You can't ask the next person. In some sales organization, the top seller, he's not talking to you. He's not going to say a word. Matter of fact, it's a secret. He might even tell you to get out of his office. If you're not good friends with the top seller, he ain't talking to you. But over here, we got a bunch of top sellers walking around the room saying, hey, can I give you some free game? Can I walk you through this process? Can I make sure that you understand why you have to develop a mind that allows you to conquer all things that are possible? And if you want to get in that room, I highly recommend, if it's not your children, if it's not a health impact that's stopping you, I want you to really go home today and just think about it. I stopped selling the convention, but I started believing that the convention was the best place for the average individual to be, because I already know in my 50 plus years of limited experience, I've walked into many rooms. I never forget. Last story I'll give you. I walked into this business office, small business office. Gentleman of another persuasion said to me, no, I can't share that information. I thought you were a small business consultant and you help small businesses grow. I had an excellent idea that actually ended up falling true to be true. But that gentleman did not want to share that information with me. And when I saw that idea fulfilled, I understood that it was not only possible, but he didn't want to give me that information. So anytime I know that I can walk into a room and say, hey, coach, can I talk to you tonight and have a conversation with you? Hey, Mr. Pham, I noticed that you're here today. Can I get 5 minutes of your time? And that's available to be coached and talked through. This is where you need to learn that the $210 is actually worth nothing in comparison to the amount of information that you'll receive. The $1,000 that you'll end up spending between ticket, hotel, it'll be worth it because you'll eat plenty of food without you paying for it. You're going to have plenty of time to hang out with a lot of people who are just great people and who really conquered life and really went through trials and circumstances and said, I still showed up. Ask the people their story. I won't speak about their story, but ask the people their story. Many of the people in that room, they came from like odd circumstances. Ask the CEO, hey, I came off a different lifestyle coming from Vietnam where there was a bunch of no's to my lifestyles before I got the yeses in the US. Mr. Samad, I'm going to pass the call over to you. Maybe if you have the opportunity to grace everybody, I see you might be moving. But let me know. If not, we're going to open up to any other leader today as we kind of move towards transitions, basically. It looks like this gentleman's going to jump on. Go ahead, sir.
Can you guys hear me?
We can hear you, sir.
Awesome stuff, man. Listen, you guys got me pumped and fired up. Put a one in the chat. I mean, if you guys feel like this call has been extremely valuable so far this morning, right? I'm listening to a Kim Howard talking about being intentional, in regards to the convention. You guys don't go to the convention with a formalist mindset, meaning don't just show up in la la land, right? You want to show up and be intentional. You want to have some things written down, right? In regards to what am I here for? What do I intend to get out of this convention? Right, and you guys got to forgive my background noise. I'm actually at Starbucks in downtown San Francisco right now, and it is cranking in the Starbucks right now. But be intentional about getting in the room. Be intentional about what you plan to get from the convention. Right, number one. But number two, what I hear, the undertone of what everybody is talking about is culture and belief. You guys, please write this down. More than a skill set, culture and belief. Belief more than anything. If you want to know the difference between somebody making, $1,000 a month to somebody making $100,000 a month in this industry, is belief. And when you come to these calls, when you come to these conventions, people say, well, why do we got so many calls? Why do we have trainings? What does conventions have to do with a business like this? It's because you have to train your belief. Belief is a skill set in this business. Trust me, the person who has the belief to sit across the table with somebody worth millions of dollars versus somebody worth a $30,000 annual income, it's not how well they do an illustration. It's belief. And you train your belief in these calls, in these rooms, in convention. Hans just made me just realize something. Listen, you pay $210 to get to a convention, to get into a room full of people that's going to give you the game for free. $210 is the price, right? But you get in the room and you got an expose of people you can tap on the shoulder and say, hey, how do you get there? Anthony and Rain Rubio, how do you get to EVC? Brad Pham, how do you get to 30 million after transitioning out of WFG, starting from scratch and building it all over again after a 7-8 year period? You get to tap a Mary Grace on the shoulder and say, hey, how do you operate with so much belief and conviction? How is it that you don't need a script for every call? How is it that you don't need a script for every client? How are you able to close $1.2 million in rollovers, $2.5 million in rollover business, and you don't have a script? It's belief. Me and Kyrie just got off an appointment that preceded this appointment, and I was super proud of him because he's doing everything right in regards to building his belief, leveraging his leadership, saying, listen, where I don't know how to do this thing, I'm not going to take a risk. Hans talked about, this ain't a family trip, right? And Kim talked about it too. And I'll be honest with you guys, I'm prepared to make a lot of people upset because I got a weekend. I got 3 days to take advantage of a life-changing opportunity. And please write this philosophy down. Maybe you want to live by this, okay? He or she who dares not to upset cannot be honest. Let's say that one more time. He or she who dares not to upset cannot be honest. You guys, you're not going to always be agreeable, especially as an entrepreneur. Do you know that you are going against the grain? Every day you wake up and you hop on these calls. Every day you wake up and you say, I'm an entrepreneur. Every day you wake up and say, I'm in the life insurance space. You're going against the grain. Because people are personalizing your energy to say, hey, if he's right, then I'm wrong. And I don't want to be wrong. So I'm going to challenge him. I'm going to challenge her. And they may not do it directly, and they may do it indirectly, but that's what's happening everywhere you go. Trust me. And you got to be willing to stand on business and not care about the platform of right or wrong. Because it's not about that. It's about you having a mission to fulfill and a purpose to fulfill for you and your family. So I want to end it with this, and I'll open it up because we still got a little bit of time, but I'm going to be brief. You guys, I just want you guys to write this down and understand the reason that we're so excited. There's a lot of new people on this call, right? New people. Welcome to the business. Great timing. Listen, we built this business from convention to convention. So while everybody else is on a regular calendar year, January to December, we built this business from June to June. So this is the first month of your business that's going to show up at next year's convention. So I want you guys to know when you're at convention that you're seeing the work and the foundational work that was put in place by people who started from last June of 2025 to June of 2026. But you guys now can say, hey, this is July. This is the first month of the new year for my business. Let me absolutely lose my mind so that I can make sure that I'm on that stage next year. Like Kim said, Kim, I was explaining to somebody the other day how I knew this was my purpose because I was in the back of a room in PHP and I was crying. My soul literally would not shut down the tears because I knew I belonged in front of the room. And I had never had a moment where I knew what I was supposed to be doing more than that moment ever in my life. And it's not about the money as much as it's about purpose. And so that's why we're here. And that's why we're saying, listen, because if y'all ain't tired of hearing about convention, listen, that's all we talking about until convention. like there's no other conversation to have. There's nothing else to have. There's no other conversation to have. There's no other conversation to have. So if you're not registered, listen, I'm really not understanding why. Because at the end of the day, we've all spent $210 on far less. And it's not an expense, it's an investment. And so I want you guys to write this down real quick. I took a few notes. Okay. The infinite era from convention to convention, right? The elite in this profession do not measure time from January to December. They measure time from convention to convention, right? And so Hans talked about our numbers from last year to this year. I believe, you guys, that we built an MVP team, and I want you guys to be proud of that. When I say we built an MVP team, what I mean is we were number one in gross points in the company as a team, okay? $1.2 million in points that we put on the board as a team. Over 1,320 applications from June to June as a team. 181 new agents introduced to this mission as a team, okay? So why is this going to be our biggest year? Yes, you guys should give yourselves a round of applause. I would lose my mind about that because here's the thing. There's some people where every day they're waking up and it's Groundhog Day. Meaning that, listen, they about to get in the same traffic, they waking up at the same time every day, and there's no opportunity for them to change the trajectory. They don't have the determining factor in their pocket, in their favor. There's a ceiling on what they can do and what they can produce for their families. So having the opportunity to be able to predict and determine your own value is something that you should be celebrating. And I promise you, you only got a small window to do it. It's called critical periods. See, moments, you guys, have to be taken. That's why they call them stolen moments. You guys ever heard the term stolen moment? You gotta take them. You have to take them. They're not going to be given to you. There's nothing that anybody has ever done that was great where it was just handed to them. And I promise you, anytime somebody handed somebody something, they fumbled the bag. Because the level of appreciation that was required for them to value it, the word appreciation, the root word in appreciation is precious. And when you don't appreciate a thing, okay, you don't treat it like it's precious, therefore you don't value it and you lose it. That's why the business is hard. That's why the business is difficult. That's why the business preserves challenges for your journey, because God or whoever you believe in, the universe, whatever, is trying to show you how to appreciate this thing on the front end so that you can maintain it on the back end. So you should be excited when life start lifing. You should be excited when challenges come your way. You should be excited when it just seemed like you on an obvious trial. Because your breaking point is your breakthrough. Your breaking point is your breakthrough. Kim said it. She said, listen, I was about to quit. Kim, I was about to quit too. I was on the cusp of quitting. I was leaving FFL. I was like, listen, this may not be for me. But something told me to just hang in there. Something told me, listen, God, I know I trust the journey. I know this is happening for a reason. And boom, I get introduced to our Infinite Company, hit the top position in 6 months. Kim finds a billion dollar bill on the ground or $1 million bill on the ground, right? So why is this going to be our biggest year ever? Okay. I want you guys to write this down. Number one, we have the infrastructure. If you don't think the infrastructure is here already, I want you to think about what you're thinking about. Because the numbers don't lie. $1.2 million in posted business, and we only in year 2 as a team. This thing is only going to go up from here. So number one, why are we going to have our biggest year ever? And I'm saying us, we have the infrastructure. Number one. Number two, we have leadership depth. I'm talking to my sports people right now. You want to know why Steve Kerr, Popovich in Chicago Bulls head coach, Phil Jackson, number one coaches in the game? Because they built the bench. Period. They built the bench, and while everybody else was playing against five players, they had 10 players that can put up 30, 20 in any given night. They built the bench. We've got leadership depth. You guys, there's not a call that happens in this company where you're not going to see somebody from Supreme Team dominating that call. So I'm going to forewarn everybody when you get to this convention, what do you think is going to happen on this stage at convention? I'm just letting you know it's going to be a Supreme Team takeover. That's our convention. That's our convention as we intended it. So we no longer have producers building a business. We got leaders creating leaders. Number three, we got culture. Talent wins, okay? Talent wins months, but culture wins decades. You guys want to be a part of something that lasts 10, 15, 20 years? Culture, and we got it as a team. Number four, we got momentum. Momentum is one of the few things in business money cannot buy. Momentum is one of the few things in business money can't buy. You can buy CRM, you can buy leads, you can buy a back office staff, but you can't buy momentum, baby. And that only comes from people putting their head down and doing the work. And number five, last thing I'll lead you with, convention attendance is absolutely exploding. You guys, we have 50 plus. Let's continue to drive and get it to 100. With that said, Hans, I'm absolutely excited, brother. I'm going to turn it back over to you to close us out.
No, thank you, Mr. Samad. Great to see you, brother. Praying for you, believing that everything is in the right direction, guys. But hey, Miss Mapp, I appreciate you, my sister. I don't believe in nothing but the best for you. I appreciate you, Miss Kimberly Howard. I'll close with this. He just said we have leadership depth, and that's 100% true. Because this is an organization. We're a team. We're a team. And that's what you guys got to understand. I had this thought in my head today. Mrs. Mom won't be able to get rid of me, man. He got 5 years with me. Because I'm going to get to Africa, then we're going to come back and we're going to run the play again. Because as long as we stay as an organization, you are winning too. When Kyrie wins, I win. When Hans wins, you win. When you win, I win. And that's the formula that we're running. And we're about to go. You guys should be excited because this is our convention. We're going to run that show. Not because we're better than, because we were built for this. And we're building it even further with the intent to make sure that you're included in the conversation. So you got invited. You got invited to the superstar team. And just remember that. And if you accept your invitation, well, you're going to show up at convention, not because it was easy, not because you didn't have to sacrifice. Some of it will be easy. It's just a flight away. But you got to remember, before it got a flight away, many of us paid the price. I told people, I remember my 75 cents having to put it in the car. So before I got somewhere, I had to pay a price. And we're just telling you guys, pay the price now. It'll be a lot less expensive because I know what it is. I see it. People say, going to make the donuts. That commercial is true because it was a routine that the person could not break. But when you go from income to profit, it now changes the rules in favor of you. Let's go build wealth together. Let's show up at the convention. Let's lead together. Don't leave each other bad. No man or woman left behind. The only person who leaves behind is the one that says, I didn't want to go. And we can't do anything about that. But we're going to invite you. And when you arrive, we're going to love on you. We're going to eat together. We're going to break bread together. We're going to laugh. We're going to cry. We're going to take photos because we just believe in winning. You guys go have a successful day. I got a couple appointments to keep. I will see you guys shortly, but I appreciate the leadership on this team. I've never seen anything like it, and I'm glad I'm part of it. You guys have an excellent day. Thank you, sir. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. You guys have an excellent day.